When dinosaurs went extinct, a new form of animal life came into power called mammals. Mammals existed during the dinosaur times, but it's after the dinosaurs' extinction where mammals truly thrive. It's during this time where you have a certain mammal called the Myasidae. This mammal was found around 62 million years ago, about 3 to 4 million years after the extinction of dinosaurs. You might not believe it, but this is the direct descendant of cats and dogs. Yes, these very different animals technically came from the same family. After the Myasidae, you have a certain mammal called the Dormal, which this is the direct descendant of all dogs and cats. But in this video, we want to focus on Caeniformia, basically dog-like animals. You have a lot of canines all throughout history, and one of them are bears. The first bear-like animal came around 38 million years ago, and the location is vast. It was found in Eurasia and North America, but it didn't stay only in these areas. The bear went through all types of locations and evolved differently. Like the ones that went towards the North Pole turned into the polar bear. The ones that are in Asia turn into the brown bear. In North America, most of the bears turn into the black bear. Some may say, what about the grizzly bear that's found in North America? These are the same brown bears in Asia that went to Northern America and evolved differently. Technically, the term grizzly bear is just the North American brown bear. Another cool one is that the ones that went to China turned into panda bears, which are also the weirdest bears in the world. A bear that could technically eat everything, but it only chooses to eat greens, especially bamboos. And this is the reason that it always lacks energy. It doesn't get the correct amount of calories and protein to be compared to the other powerful bears. But even though it lacks energy and it's cute, it's not like it's still not a bear. If it feels like it, it will attack and it will hurt you. But before we talk about modern bears, let's go back in time and see where these bears came from. About 3 million years ago, if you look at the bears that live all across the globe, they are a lot smaller than what they are today. And you could say they were even smaller than a wolf. And another huge difference is that they had longer tails, kind of like a dog. But scientists say it's around this time where bears became omnivores. So after this, they don't only rely on meat. They could technically eat anything. When they became omnivores, their lives became much easier. They didn't have to hunt prey to fill up their stomach. They could eat berries, different types of fruit, and all types of leaves. Basically, they wouldn't stay hungry as much. But there's a huge question. We always thought meat-eating animals get bigger and more powerful. So how come the bear got bigger and more powerful when it became an omnivore? Scientists say the reason omnivores made bears bigger and more powerful is that they had more options. Before then, they would have to hunt prey to fill up their stomach, which is why they were hungry most of the time and lacked energy. But by eating berries and other types of greens, they could fill up their stomach temporarily so they can continue hunting for that meat they're looking for. In simple terms, you could say the herbs and berries are the appetizers, and the meat they hunt is the main course. One of the unique things different types of bears have is that they hibernate. It is because of their hibernation in the winter time is that these animals remain large and powerful. If they were forced to hunt during the winter, then they would be screwed because there's a lack of berries, greens, and prey. So it's better to fill up your stomach during summer and fall so you can sleep during the cold months and not have to worry about finding food. The weirdest bear, on the other hand, is the panda bear. They do not hibernate because they don't get enough calories. Even if they eat the things they want all day, they don't have enough calories to survive tomorrow, let alone the entirety of winter. Bears are one of the biggest mammals on Earth. And if you ever see one, it's better to avoid them. They're usually always hungry, and it's very rare they're not hungry. And if you see a female bear that has its cubs next to him, it's better to say goodbye to your life. Because a female bear that has cubs doesn't attack to fill up its stomach. It attacks you because you're in its territory, and it thinks you're gonna take its cubs away. So a female bear, especially when it has cubs, is much more dangerous than a male bear. Experts say the only time a male bear attacks is when it's starving. You might ask, is a tiger more dangerous or bears? It's not even comparable. Bears are extremely violent And in simple terms, they're more wild. Technically speaking, when a tiger is full and it's not in a hostile environment, it most likely will not attack you if you don't seem like a threat. And you can literally hang out with it like it's a big cat. But bears are not like this. There is no way you can become friends with these things. You might have heard that the wildest animal on Earth is the polar bear. The polar bear is the only animal on Earth where it hunts down humans. So technically, most bears avoid humans, but a polar bear sees you as food and it wants to eat you. But when you compare it to other predators like tigers and lions, even wolves, they do not want to be confronted by humans, because just like you see them as a threat, they see you as a threat as well, and they want to avoid you at all costs, unless there's a situation going on. But a polar bear doesn't see that. It technically sees all red, and it wants to kill you no matter what. And it makes sense because they live in an environment where it lacks food. You can't even find greens and berries in the environment. So any type of meat it finds, it wants to take it. Especially when it has 2 cubs and it has to give them food as well. We said polar bears are only found in the northern part of the planet. Black bears belong to North America, and brown bears can be found anywhere in the northern part of the hemisphere. And just like we said, brown bears in different locations are different. Like you have the grizzly bear in North America, which is just an American brown bear. But the question is, why can't you find bears in the southern hemisphere? You can, but it's only found in South America. It's basically the black bears that moved down there millions of years ago, and it got some glasses. But not really glasses. It's called the spectacled bear because it looks like it has glasses. This speckled bear is one of the smallest bears, and if you see its snout, it's much shorter than other bears. And because of that, it has a much more powerful jaw, even though it's smaller. Unfortunately, this spectacled bear has a population of less than 20,000. So they're kind of an endangered species. And it doesn't help that the locals hunt down these bears when they see them. This is one of the smallest bears. But what is the largest bear in the world? The polar bear is absolutely massive. But you have another bear that lives in North America that is a little bit bigger than polar bears. This is the Kodiak bear. It's also called the Alaskan bear as well. The Kodiak is an absolute monster. In the year 1987, they weighed one of the biggest Kodiak bears they've ever found, and it came out to 1,089 kilograms. Imagine if this thing slapped you. The amount of force behind that hand is unbelievable. But what about the height? It has a height of 3 meters and 35 centimeters, or almost 11 feet tall. The height and weight of the Kodiak is not the scary part. The scary part is its speed. Even with all this weight, and it looks chubby, but it has tremendous amount of speed, and it will chase you down. It has a speed of about 50 kilometers or 30 miles an hour. The fastest human on Earth is 44 kilometers an hour, and they're an absolute athlete. But this 1-ton bear is faster than that guy. But the Kodiak is a type of grizzly or brown bear. But it got bigger and bigger once it moved to Alaska. Like for example, the Middle Eastern brown bear is called the Syrian brown bear, and you can find them in this area. Another cool fact about bears is that they could interbreed with one another and create hybrids. Like for example, since the Kodiak is in Alaska and it's very close to the North Pole, there are cubs that are hybrids of Kodiak and polar bears.